I made the choice to come back because I was shown certain things, and it was my soul that desired to come back to make that choice. And that what this adds to me and all souls, when you experience the unexperienced, you gain a certain perceptual wisdom that would have never been birthed unless it was experienced. How to control, how to leave, how to adjust, how to dial it in. If your soul gets excited, understand this, your physical body has an electromagnetic field through the heart. You could say generates a field. Your soul has that same thing, but you could say it's heightened by like 1,000. Once you make that disconnection, if you get excited and too close to the body with the soul, you will start to turn on the electromagnetic field of the physical body, waking it back up. And then that's where you get pulled back in. This is where there's a lot of practice and training that goes into really understanding the process of doing this correctly, pretty much. So sleep paralysis is the gateway to the other side, if you know how to control it. A lot of people have sleep paralysis. It happens out of the blue.
Yeah.
And a lot of people fear this state. When you fear this state, this natural sleep paralysis, you wake up the body again, and you lose the opportunity to exit. Sleep paralysis is just a natural thing that happens. It's the lowering of the magnetic field of the body. And like I said, once you are fearless and you get rid of the fear of death, and you know how to control that dial, you leave the body every time. That's the point of 100% consciousness of leaving the body, not just a dream, not just like, oh, I'm dreaming and I'm leaving the body. No, it's once you learn how to control that state, once you exit, your thought process, who you are right now, does not change from when you're leaving. You're the same personality. You're the same person. On the other side, beings are viewing souls. Souls are actually viewing this because the souls are physical. And they're viewing this place as what it's viewed here. Multidimensional aspect of this whole thing. I saw a version of all of these, just to depict it, the many different constructs stacked on God's shelves. And you told me before we went live, that you remember seeing like these sort of the stacks of constructs.
It was three-dimensional dominoes was the best way that I could describe it.
You were seeing in your near death, you're being pulled out of the construct and you're able to see all of the many creations. Mm-hmm. And this is just an animation, just to try to show people of how it is actually viewed. It's a very real thing. There's no end to all of creation. You'll never reach the end point to it. Because your consciousness, who you are, is constantly creating based off experiences. So what you experience, then you go back in on the other side to create new things, new experiences. The unexperienced was what we're experiencing now, which is what it's like not to be God, because each individual soul is that. No one's better or greater than each individual soul. The only thing you could say where a soul is greater, and I'm using that in quotation marks, is based off the soul's experience. That's the ultimate form of wealth on the other side, the soul's experience, because through all that experience that the soul has, it's able to create things for other souls to delight in and experience that as well. Because a lot of what is written about in text are true, but there's also a lot of distortion and fear. And that's something that took me a long time to really deprogram myself from the things that I had belief structures around, from seeing it multiple times. And this, seeing it once, I'm like, no, that can't be true. Seeing it twice, like, I don't believe that. And then seeing it multiple times, it's just like, okay, that's what it is. And this took me a long time to figure out myself, is when you are out of the body, the constantly changing variables are you accessing thought forms and potential time events. And that took me a long time to figure out what the hell I was seeing and how to navigate that correctly. Because when you come out, you're not only seeing what's taking place here, also seeing your thought forms, other people's thought forms, potentiality of time events as well. And all those merge into the same space. So you could see them physically while at the same time seeing the energetic field around that being as well. And this is where you could start to predict certain time events within an individual field. And I've done it for myself. I've done it to personal people in my life as well. Those are the constantly changing things. Now, when you understand that, then you could actually step into the foundation. You can move beyond that. So you could start commanding, well, what are the stars? What is beyond here? Or actually just moving to that direction. And you'll start to see that everything has a very structured creation. Now, you can experience hell on the other side. You could experience hell here. And all this is sinning on yourself of stepping out of unconditional love. So when you step out of unconditional love for yourself, you sin on yourself, because what you're doing, it's no different from if you drink oil, you're sinning on your body, you're destroying yourself from within. So when you look at hell here, even frequency as well, what you speak dictate how your cells express themselves. And this has been proven in the water experiment, things within water like rice to either ferment or decay based off what they speak. Your body's the same thing. So they put people here in such a stressful state all the time, and stress in and of itself will kill you. People die from stress. Love does the opposite. So the way the current structure and the system's set up is to get you into survival mode, put you in the state of panic, stress, fear, anxiety, and all of those things are sinning on yourself, on the body, and therefore destroying the body in a cannibalistic way. And then you are actually living in a hellish experience in physical density. Now, even when you're on the other side too, I've experienced this myself due to my own fears. All right. So when you're on the other side, you could create your own hellish experience by stepping out of unconditional love. Because then when you step out of that on the other side as well, then you start experiencing the opposite of your divinity, which is hell, the human race. And so we have blacks, Caucasians, etc. But there's more to the race of humans than what we've been told. And a lot of them are a lot larger and bigger than what we've been told as well. And I've seen them as well. So I've seen Anunnaki beings. I've seen the angels. Now the angels are what, first time I seen one of the angels, they are exactly what people think they are, the white wings and stuff like that. These are the original angels, but I've also seen the different forms of them, like these beings as well. I've seen the Garden of Eden when I was in realm 4, which is the Garden of Eden. Well, the protectors of the tree of life there or look very similar to what I'm sharing right here. And people would say, oh, this is demonic or whatever. But these are the beings that are actually protecting the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, part of the fourth heaven. I've seen the seraphim, which is these ones are written down there. They would be 8. So that's the closest to, you could say, the gods as well. You have what people call gods or the Olympians. Like we have a race of beings that look like God-like Olympians. I've seen those races, the hybrid races, these races. Seeing these races here, what was in them.
So why do we not see them on a daily basis anymore?
Yeah. I'll stop sharing my screen and I've shown many times. And now when people think of what the text has said in the Bible of the earthly realm, the firmament, waters above, water below, like that's what I've seen. And that's what I've seen many times, and how the celestial bodies are all fixed points within the firmament above us. And these fixed points, stars, are actually dimensional portal access points. Same reason why certain structures, pyramids were aligned to them, because we have a total of 12 realms here. You could say 12 heavens, and the 13th being the container. And how they were able to bring down entities, let's say the seraphims, the angels, the realm of Eden beings, the angelic beings, is that they were pulling them down from the higher realms into the physical realm here. This isn't created by one individual based off what I have been shown, just off experience. It's not one individual called God, because we on the other side are all gods, because we create through our will, our spoken word, and we create constructs based off what our soul desires to experience due to its own fulfillment and joy, because there's no limitation placed on you ever on the other side. You cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation. And that is you. And your consciousness is the dictator of all things, the universe around you. You see? So when you look at the structure of what I said before, as above, so below, as within, so without, the 13-strand DNA or 12-strand DNA, there are 13 beings co-collaborating, creating this, or have created it. Just like on the other side, you have a collection of souls that create something, one soul that creates something. That's what I was shown. So what people call God are a more than one beings that have created this experience. The bending of space and time could also be done through accessing the 12 stargates, which is through the cores of the realm. You could say the sun is a stargate as well, because the sun is not a gassy ball in space. And when you ask yourself, where does light come from? What is actual light? Where does light come from? People don't really ask these questions. Light is coming from the sun anyways. The sun's light is coming from bridging of multiple dimensions and realms and bringing that light through. This is why it's considered a stargate as well. Even yourself right now, you are the creator of light. When you close your eyes, you're in darkness. And it's only when you start to imagine something, you birth light into creation. We are literally the creators of light. And even God said that as well in the Bible. Light was always secondary. He created the earthly realm. He said, let there be light.